All right. Can everybody see my screen? Let me just double check. I'll get this started. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So first of all, I'd like to thank iNACOL for having me. I'm a huge fan of their work, especially the blended learning that they're doing, because you will not find a bigger blended learning fan than me. Blended learning, I think, is so unbelievably important, especially for today's learner, because it allows us to deliver a personalized learning experience to every kid. Because we know kids learn at different speeds, we know kids learn at different ways, and what's fantastic about a blended learning model is you give every kid the best differentiator there is, and that's time. And so, as Maya mentioned, I taught high school English for 9 years. About 5 years ago, I moved to a blended learning model. And what that meant to me was my kids came to class, and I would spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes on direct instruction. And after that, I would let the kids go and learn on the devices that we had in the classroom. And so the kids were learning in a self-paced, self-directed kind of way while I was in the room to provide support. And as we go through this kind of new curriculum that I created to get more out of the blended model in my classroom, I want to point out just the different ways that these blending techniques can hopefully help you guys, because I'm a big fan of giving takeaways, something that you guys can leave with at the end of today's webinar that you can turn around and use in the classroom or at least get excited about. And so for me, a little bit more of the background, when it comes to the blended model, I'm very lucky to be in a school district where we are now very close to being one-to-one with Chromebooks. And I only got here about 6 months ago, Fairhaven School District in Fairhaven, New Jersey. But before that, I was in a Title I high school, and we had 0 devices. And so when I went to this blended model, I had to go to a bring your own device method to be able to get these kids online. And so we had all nature of devices in class, and for a long time, I think 3 or 4 years, I taught my entire class off a cell phone, and my kids used their cell phones to learn. So if you are thinking about blending and you are worried maybe about not having the devices, chances are your kids are bringing what they need to learn in their pockets. And so I think that's important to mention as well, because while I am lucky now, like I said, to have one-to-one Chromebooks and PCs and pretty much everything I need to be successful, it hasn't always been that way. And so a lot of my blending takes place using Google Apps for Education. Google Apps for Education is Google's free offering for school. And I think the best way to kind of explain it is Microsoft has Office, and Google Apps for Education, Google has something called Drive, right? So Microsoft Office, Google Drive. Inside of Drive, you have Google Docs, which is kind of like Word. You have Google Sheets, which is like Excel. You have something called Forms, which allows you to take a survey. And you also have something called Google Sites, which is what you're looking at now. If you are a member, if your school district is a member of Google Apps for Education, it's really easy to do. You can go ahead and have your own websites for free. And so I actually bought the domain. So if you guys were to go to fairhaveninnovates.com, right, it takes you right to this. And if you look at the URL up here, you'll see it's just sites.google.com, and then it's Fairhaven Innovations, because this website and all the hosting happens inside domains. So what's great about this is you have free websites, you have free hosting, and you'll see some of the ways that they use some of the other Google Apps for Education products, as we get started. And it really has made all the difference. Before Google even offered this to schools for free, I actually made a personal account, a regular Gmail account, and I had all my kids make Gmail accounts, and we were kind of using Google Apps for Education before Google Apps for Education was even a thing. They've since added a couple great things, one being Google Classroom, which my kids use, which is a learning management system where you can interact with the kids and assign work and grade work and make announcements and do a lot of really nice things. So Google Apps for Education created a fantastic platform that allows me to reach my kids where they are, and it helps me get them to where I want to be. And that's all really done through blended learning. And so when I came to Fairhaven, I wanted to improve on the model that I had been using in high school. So I really buckled down with my curriculum director, Ellen Spears, who couldn't join us today. And together we created something that we call the Fresh Air Curriculum. And the reason why we created this Fresh Air Curriculum is because we noticed that there was a problem where, on the first day of school, a teacher gets their curriculum and then may never look at it again. And there's a big disconnect between what is in the curriculum that collects dust in the closet and what's actually going on to class. And so one of the first things we did in our blended learning model that we, created, this new curriculum that we created, is we put the entire curriculum online. And I know that's not entirely true, entirely new, but we took it one step further and we made the work the children are going to do, the information that parents need, and the curriculum all in one place. So if you go to fairhaveninnovates.com, everything that anybody could ever want to know or see or do in a class is all right there. And so now, instead of never seeing their curriculum or never knowing what they should be learning, what the standards are and stuff like that, parents, students, and teachers can see it's all right there. And what else is great about this, by putting this on a website, we can consistently update the curriculum and the work to be a living, breathing document that grows and changes as the kids do as well. So what you're looking at, again, is fairhaveninnovates.com. It is our, I guess the best way to explain it would be our STEM and our Makerspace initiative. But again, I came from a high school classroom where this is basically what I did just on steroids. And so what we'll focus on today is what's going on in Knollwood Labs. That is our middle school offering. You see on the left Sickle Studios, which is our elementary school offering. And they both have pretty much the same thing going on, but Knollwood is a lot more in-depth and I think will be a better model to kind of walk through and explain the different things that are going on here. So we created a graphic, and when my kids come to Fairhaven Innovates and they click on Knollwood Labs, they are taken to our curriculum, they're taken to our webpage, they're taken everything that they need to be successful in the classroom. And so right now, because I'm in New Jersey, and New Jersey started school last week. I know some of you guys might be in states that start like in beginning or mid-August. New Jersey is one of the latest states, I believe, going back to school. So we started, I think, September 7th or September 8th or something like that. And so right now the kids come to the home page, and this video is just a little video, entrance video for Knollwood Labs, something that the kids could see and get excited about. And this will eventually change. It'll be pictures of the kids working, and maybe a video of the week. So one of the things that this website allows me to do is showcase student work. And that's something I really enjoy too, because kids are seeing it, parents are seeing it, teachers are updating the site. We can kind of see already what I love about blending and using curriculum as a website is it also is going to build community. And so, this home page can change whenever I want because Google allows me to edit the page or come into here and, work off page settings or edit site layout, manage site, really, really easy. And another way that I'm building community and also letting parents know what's going on in class is through this storyline page. And you'll see on the left, the storyline page is an embedded Google Doc, which I will update once a week, that lets parents know what we did in the lab this week. And what's fantastic about this is you see here for me, because I am the owner of this document, if I were to click on this, it takes me to the Google Doc, and as I update this, and I go back, because Google Apps for Education is all live updating products, you'll see that this Google Doc just updated, and I didn't have to make any changes to the actual website. So by embedding Google Apps for Education, it becomes really easy to constantly communicate, right? So for me to add the pictures and the text for this, basically this journal, takes little to no effort. I go back into the Google Doc, I get rid of that, and next time the page is refreshed, you'll see that the live Google Doc has been updated right on the website. So it's really easy to update this, and I think that's really important, is because when you make a big old binder 400 or 500 pages long for a curriculum, to go back and reprint that binder and give it to the teachers, and it's such a headache. And so what I love about moving the curriculum online is the ease with which it can be updated. And so you'll see on the right, I have our quest, what our mission is in Knollwood Labs. I want Knollwood Labs to be a national model for student-centered learning. And so what's fantastic is as our mission changes, if our mission changes, I can just go ahead and update that. And so right now we have computer science, design, and engineering in Knollwood Labs. But if it changes in a couple years, well, then I could just modify the site to be part of, to continue to be part of what we're offering here in Fairhaven.
Kristen had a question.
Same thing. Every curriculum.
Sorry, Kristen had a quick question around. Melissa was wondering, she doesn't find that Google Docs is very easily formatted. Do you have any tips on that?
So Google Docs, I think, is kind of easily formatted if you use Google Docs. A lot of times people try to use it like Word, or they'll upload something from Word. But if you look across, I've never been able to not do something in Google Docs. And so, you can see I added a graphic, and right in line I could go ahead and I could modify that graphic. So I think that the key to getting better at Google Docs and formatting it is just using it and understanding that it may never look like Word, or it may not look like, it does in Word. But if you start to use Google Docs for what it is, I really haven't had too much of a problem. So I think maybe the best answer to that is to continue to play in Google Docs and get used to, kind of how it works. It's similar to Word, but it's not exactly the same. So going back, we have, the essential questions. How does my mindset affect my ability to be successful in the classroom and beyond? And how can I best identify a problem and be persistent through, thorough, and innovative in solving it? Because besides being a model for student-centered learning, what we're doing at Knollwood Labs is a lot of problem-based learning. Sickle Studios, again, which is our elementary school version, is a lot of project-based learning and whole class learning where we kind of work on a project together. And by the time they get to the middle school, we hope that we have developed the skills in them that they can work a little bit more autonomously in small groups or by themselves. They have that choice, and I'll talk about agency in a second, how important that is. But by having the essential questions right there, my kids love to come and read the storyline. I see each class 1 hour per week, so that's 1 day per week they're in the innovation lab. So they go and they check out the storyline, and they see overall what some kids have been doing. They see, a couple other things that's been going on. And so for them to have the essential questions in their face, for them to see their mission in their face, right, the guiding questions, the things that we're focusing on right now, and even the standards are all built in. And eventually these are going to, link to a little bit more in-depth standards or maybe some examples, because I can modify this however I want. And so if I decide I want to update essential questions or guiding questions, if I want to update standards, I can do that with a click of a button without having to print out a whole other binder and do all that stuff. And so it's kind of neat. If you click down here on Google Sites, you can see the recent site activity. You can see how often that I update this website. And so what curriculum gets this much attention? I mean, this is something that I've been developing since I got here in December. And you can see all the modifications, all the changes, all the edits that I've made over time. And what I love about this, again, is it turns curriculum into a living document. I'm constantly working on this. I'm constantly tweaking this. When the kids come to this site and they make a suggestion, they like something, they don't like something, I go ahead and make those changes. And so this becomes more user-friendly, more parent-friendly, becomes more focused and really achieving our goals the longer that I use this, because I just get better ideas and stuff like that. And so one of the really unique things I think about the Fresh Air curriculum is students will come here for every class. Every class starts at fairhaveninnovates.com because they have their quests. And so in the innovation lab, students can pick design and engineering quests or computer science quests, or they can do a RAID. And again, this is totally up to them. This is their choice. So students who click on design and engineering quests, they'll see, first of all, some tips from me. And so you see this is me talking to them about something called their quest logs, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You see that they also have the option to make their own quest. if a student doesn't find a design and engineering quest or a computer science quest that meets their needs, or they have a certain passion that they want to explore, they can come to me and ask me if they can do this. And what's great about blended learning, while kids are working independently and becoming better independent learners and having agency and voice and choice in what they do, it frees me up to be able to conference with students. It frees me up to be able to talk with students about making their own quest. And they know their design and engineering quests have to revolve around these heroic traits. And they're called heroic traits, and you can see they come in newbie flavors, epic flavors, or heroic flavors, because I'm also a huge fan of gamification. Gamification is just adding, to me, a layer of fun over what we're already doing. Gamification is using game mechanics in non-game contexts. So back when I taught high school English, I taught in a really tough high school, and I noticed a lot of my kids had become disengaged with learning. And most of the conversations I had with my students revolved around video games. So I thought, what better way to re-engage my students than turn my class into a video game? And that's something I've been doing for years now, and I really couldn't imagine teaching without gamification, because I really just think it adds such an amazing level of fun and engagement and motivation over top what we're already doing. So while these are standards, and the design and engineering standards are based on the new curriculum science standards, or however you say it, I forget, the new science standards, and all I did was kind of level them, because differentiation, the kids know that they have tiered traits. And so what a kid could do is, let's say, you know, we learn with Minecraft in the Innovation Lab sometimes. So if a kid is designing something in Minecraft and he knows that he's just learning Minecraft, he's getting used to it, he might want to pick, you know, one or two of these standards in the newbie level to focus on. And as he gets better, he can go to the epic level. As he gets better, then he can hopefully, you know, maybe by the end of the year or sooner, he could be hitting these heroic level traits. So students know that when they come to design and engineering, or whether they go to computer science, it's all, you know, there. Here's the computer science standards. This is based on the United Kingdom's national curriculum of computer science. You know, hopefully students will realize and know that they are progressing. They can see that progression happening. What else is really exciting, and I don't know anywhere else in the world that's doing this, is if they click on quest maps, the way my students get their actual assignments is I turned Minecraft maps into Google Maps. And so if a student, you can see you can zoom all the way in, and it's an actual Minecraft map that I built in Minecraft using a program called Overviewer. Using a program called Overviewer, I turned the Minecraft map into a Google map, and then using some Python code, when kids click on markers and they go to quests, you'll see all of these signposts pop up. Those signposts are their assignments, because they can click on an assignment and they can get a little bit of, oh, you know, what they have to do, and it shows them their quest. So for instance, if I click on the sign, we have Raspberry Pis, and I'm a big fan of Python as a programming language, so if kids want to learn with Python, if this seems interesting to them, they click on the link, and it actually opens up a Google Doc. I'm going to sign in real quick. And so kids get their quest right here. So Python's a powerful programming language, a language that the Raspberry Pi is written on. On top of being powerful, it's considered one of the easiest to learn. This makes it a great first coding language. Codecademy has great Python lessons, and then you can see I have a link for students to get started using Codecademy and learning Python, which to me, Codecademy has the best methods for learning coding anywhere. And so kids can log into Fairhaven Innovates, they can go pick their quest, they can get everything that they're supposed to do right there in front of them. They even have their objectives, right? Complete one Codecademy Python tutorial, complete all Codecademy Python tutorials, write your own Python code for the Raspberry Pi. And so it's really exciting that a kid can pick and choose what they want to do, they can pick and choose what level they're at to focus on, they can pick and choose what level quest they want to focus on, and for some of the quests, so for instance, if I go to design and engineering, I go to the quest map. For some of the quests, some of the more complex quests, when I turn on the marker, so for instance, Storybook World, students use command blocks to turn a Storybook World or a Minecraft map into a living story. And so some students may not know what a command block is, they may not know how to give themselves a command block, And so the best thing about blending your classroom is you can then start to record your lessons. You can then start to flip your classroom in a way where the videos can be secondary to your teaching. I'm not a huge fan of the flipped model in the idea of I'm going to record my direct instruction and then I'm going to have the kids watch my direct instruction at home, and then when they come in we're going to do work. I think the problem with the whole direct instruction at home, do homework in school, is you're assigning something for them to do at home. I had kids who don't do homework, so now they're not watching the direct instruction at home. They're coming into class unprepared to, do whatever we're working on that day. So what I do is I limit my direct instruction to 10, 15 minutes a day, even if I do any direct instruction, and kids know any direct instruction that they need can also be found on Fairhaven Innovates, can be found as part of the curriculum. So if they were unsure about Storybook World, here is a short YouTube video, 7 minutes or less, because science tells us that if you make a video longer than 7 minutes, kids lose their interest. And so they'll check out this YouTube video. We're a little slow sometimes in the connection here at work, but you can see it starts with our totally cool graphic, and then the kids will hear me talking about how to complete the storybook quest, and I'll turn that on. I don't know if we get system volume, but maybe you guys can hear a little bit of it.
Hello class, Mr. Aguila is here to talk to you about Storybook World. This really cool idea that we can make a story come alive using command blocks and our creativity. So check this out.
And so then I just go on to explain what they can do in Storybook World and give them some ideas how they can create a really great storybook world within Minecraft. And so again, this idea that I want my kids to have access to these videos, have access to these resources is important, because I think one of the big problems that we have in education is we develop in our kids this sense of learned helplessness. Even at the high school level, and I see it down now that I'm at the elementary, middle school level, I have a lot of students who, when they don't know what to do, will immediately come ask me what to do, and sometimes in a way that they want me to do it for them. And so by giving my kids access to the resources that they need, I no longer answer questions that kids can look up. So for instance, you'll see a tab over here. This is I call it the Armory. And really, this is just a link of resources. The kids have my email. The parents have my email. They also know that we'll be tweeting, what goes on in the Innovation Lab on my Twitter at TechToughTeacher. I just got an Instagram because I noticed that all my elementary and middle school kids use Instagram, not Twitter. So I'll be documenting their learning, taking pictures and building that community when you have a personal learning network of parents and kids and other educators on Instagram. But they can also see, if they forget how to edit a quest log, that video is built right in. A lot of times I use ViewPure. If you're not familiar with ViewPure, what's nice about ViewPure is you link a YouTube video through ViewPure, and it will take away all of the comments, all of the side videos. It takes away a lot of the stuff that could distract a kid. So all the kids see is just this YouTube video. There's nothing else to distract them. And it works pretty much just as fast as YouTube because it's just cleaning up the YouTube. So a lot of times I'll link my YouTube videos through ViewPure just to make sure there's nothing there. But this is a video about how kids can edit their quest logs, which I'm going to talk about later. And so what's fantastic about this is when a kid has a question about how to edit a quest log, when a kid wants to know about how to learn maximum XP for their quest log, because instead of assignments or work, I call them quests, and they earn XP by completing their quests or by doing a fantastic job on a quest. They can see they have an example of what a quest log should look like. They have the quest log rubric, which is a Google Doc that I can change to reflect how they're working. And so you see right now, what's kind of fun about this is the September version of this quest log rubric. When we get to December and kids get better, this rubric is going to change, and you might see the heroic traits all get moved over to newbie, and then I write some newer, harder traits to continue to push kids to grow. And again, because this is a Google Doc, I can update it live, and I don't need to mess with the Google site. This link is always going to be good. Kids playing Minecraft, if they have a question, they can click on the Minecraft wiki. Like I said, I don't answer questions that can be looked up on Google. They know that they can ask a friend. They can look in the Armory at the videos, or they can go to the Minecraft wiki and see, answer all those questions there. And so it's nice to have resources not only for the kids, but I think we forget a lot of time how valuable this stuff is for the parents. As an ed tech coach, I work with other teachers in other disciplines to blend their classrooms, to start to put videos online. And we get emails all the time from parents, thank you so much for making a video about how to do that type of math, because parents forget or parents don't know. I remember I was in high school and I made a video for my kids about how to write a resume. And I got an email from a few parents that said, thanks so much, I haven't written a resume in a long time, I watched your video. We have a lot of parents who watch the videos right along with the kids. And so it's a nice way to continue to build that community. The kids and the parents hear my voice. A lot of times I put my face in the video because science has shown kids like to see their teacher's face, not just a disembodied voice, especially if they're special needs students. Seeing your teacher in like the bottom right-hand corner of the screen while you're building, while they're listening to the video, really helps them out. So, kids complete quests. They know if they have trouble with quests, this is the Armory, and if I want to edit the Armory, I just click my pencil, and I can really just continue to grow this as the class grows. And what's great is I can roll this out next year, and every year this curriculum is going to get better because I just keep modifying it and improving it. One of the other fun things about the curriculum is it allows us to embed some more interesting features maybe. And so one of the things in my gamified classroom is I have a leaderboard. I built a leaderboard out of Google Sheets, and kids have learner tags, just like they have gamer tags at home, and so this is how kids are known. You'll see one class is yet to do it. We've actually had the last 2 Mondays off, so I have not seen my Monday class yet, so that's why there's those blanks. But you can see that my 5th and 6th graders who come to Knollwood Labs are in competition with each other to see who can make the best quests, who can make the best quest logs. And this isn't so much about completion, it's about how well they do, how much effort they put forth. Because if we go back to my storyline, we can see how does mindset affect my ability to be successful in the classroom and beyond. And so developing a growth mindset is really important to me. And whether you're doing that in a STEM lab or like I used to do in an English class, right, you can develop a growth mindset in a variety of ways. And so sometimes I use a little bit of competition that's provided by the leaderboard to continue to get more out of kids. And so you can see right now, on the first day they had 3 quests, 100 experience points each, and everybody was able to accomplish that. Kids have their learner tag, they earn the experience points. They're also grouped by grade, so it's 5th versus 6th grade right now. And they're also grouped by class. So we have, 5th grade, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, versus 6th grade, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what the 5T, 5W stands for. And students can check in and see how they're doing. Because one of the things I try to focus on in gamification is getting my kids an epic win, right? Self-esteem and building self-efficacy, especially at lower levels, but even those tough kids I taught in high school, most of my kids in high school wouldn't perform because they'd given up. They really believed that they weren't good enough. And so by finding a way to get an epic win for my kids, whether it's single player, right? Right now, Fern Dog is leading the pack because he earned 25 AP for an achievement, which we'll talk about in a second. But they can get an epic win individually, again, as a learner, one-on-one, which is this column here. They can get a win as part of their class, right? Everything they do, every quest, every achievement propels them forward and adds to the class. And it also, gets points for their grade. And so down here at the bottom, the kids can pick on the player versus player XP, and they can see where the kids are and where they are. Over here is the level, which I'll talk about in a second. And you can see how that is. Or my kids' favorite part is they go to class versus class, and they can see where they stack right now. So right now, my 6th grade class on Wednesday is leading with 10,800 points, and they have maybe, I think, 50 points more than everybody else because they did something cool. And then they can also see the class versus class. And we have 5th grade in gray. We have 6th grade just barely ahead in blue. And so the kids really love to see the competition. They love to see that what they're doing matters, what they're doing is part of the whole. So, a kid may not be great at Minecraft, and it might take him 2 or 3 weeks to finish a quest. But if he finishes the quest and he does a great job, he's adding to, the overall efforts of the class. And so I've had a lot of success with this at a bunch of different levels, and it's something I'm really excited about. And so one thing I have to keep an eye on, when I did leaderboards in high school, my kids got too competitive. They started to root against each other. And so one thing I might add is something called perks. I can actually pull it up for you. If I pull up, this is my old high school site, and you can see I always buy the domains because I just think that's something nice to do for $11 a month or something like that, or even $11 a year. So if my kids got too into leaderboards, you can see these are leaderboards for my high school kids. These are how the guilds look. This is what the class versus class competition looked like. What I had to do for our high school kids is I instituted something called perks. And when a player achieves an epic milestone, everyone in class earns a perk. Because I noticed the leaderboard, my high school kids, they got so competitive. What I wanted to do is find a way for them to be rooting for each other instead of against each other. And so what I did is I put in a perk. Anytime somebody in class does something amazing, like the first person to earn 10,000 experience points, unlocks a free XP booster for the class, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And so I have to keep an eye on, one of the things I'm keeping an eye on now at the middle school level is how competitive are these kids going to get. Right now, they're very rah-rah, all for each other, and they're very much rooting each other on. And so, that's one way, again, that even I can modify the experience year in and year out. Maybe this year, continues to do a great job of being supportive and working on that growth mindset where they're not threatened by somebody else's success. But maybe next year I have a group who's really tough. Well, I can add perks right to this website, and it just becomes part of class for that year, and then I can get rid of it if I need to for the year after. So it's really kind of neat the way that we can modify the curriculum and modify the experience to meet the needs of the class. And so you'll see here we have level. So not only do kids earn experience points, they also level up. And the way they level up is by earning achievement points. And so a lot of times people call these badges, but kids don't know what badges are unless they were in Boy Scouts. When they go home and they play Xbox or PlayStation, they're earning achievements. And so what an achievements are is throughout the year, anytime my kids perform a heroic deed, they unlock an achievement. And so an achievement, if this is something that you want to use, an achievement should be concrete, right? It should be a yes or no kind of thing. A lot of times people have badges or achievements that are like, oh, being a helper or being nice. Well, what's really hard about that is it's really hard to grade that kind of stuff, or assess that kind of stuff, I should say. And if you choose to gamify your class like I have, even if you're bad at it, like when I first started, my gamified class wasn't all that fantastic, but it was fair. The only way you fail at gamification is if you create an unfair system. And so if you reward somebody for being nice, and then you miss somebody for being nice next time, or somebody was nicer longer, or somebody was more nice than somebody else who earned an achievement, kids will revolt against an unfair system. What I love about video games is video games don't care if you're gay or straight, Christian or Muslim. They don't care if you're rich or poor. They don't care if you're black or white. Video games treat everybody the same. And so when I have these elements of gamification, right, that's what I inherently try to put in there is having a fair system. And so what I love about achievements is it's a way for me to get kids to challenge themselves. So for instance, I have something here called a demo slam. In the innovation labs, I do not do any direct instruction for the whole class. If I see a group of kids are working with a makey-makey kit, and they might benefit from knowing something, I'll call them all over, just the kids on a makey-makey, so maybe 5 or 6 kids, while the other 20 or 25 kids are doing something else, right? Because they can learn independently of me, because I've blended my classroom, their work is online, their curriculum's online, right? They don't need me to babysit them. And so a demo slam is just a quick demonstration of how something works. So I might call a kid over, I might say, hey, check this out, this is something that you can do, it's kind of cool, go play, and then, maybe last 5 minutes. Well, a kid who does that, so for instance, I had a kid do a demo slam today about where they needed to bury command blocks. So if you're not familiar with Minecraft, there's a certain order in which you have to do things, otherwise it doesn't work. So for instance, a command block has to be buried 2 blocks deep in the ground, has to have another block on top of it, and then a redstone, which is kind of like how you power blocks in Minecraft, right? Sounds crazy if you've never played it, but If you played it, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I had a group of kids that were unsure. I had one kid go over. He called over everybody who was doing command blocks. He said, hey, let me show you how to do this. So it wasn't even just me. I was over doing something else, and this kid took it upon himself to do a quick demo slam for his peers. And so he'll get an achievement for that. He'll earn 10 AP points for that. And so you can see certain things going on here. I'm a big fan of capturing learning. So kids can earn an achievement for creating a documentary or a movie trailer that captures learning in the lab. You know, some things like a screencast master. Those videos that I explain how to do things in Minecraft or in the class, right? Those are called screencasts. What you're watching now is a screencast. And so I want my kids to know how to do a screencast because it's going to be an incredibly valuable tool for their future. When my car breaks or my hot water heater breaks or, you know, something happens in my house, the first place I go is YouTube. And I look up other experts who are sharing their expertise for free on YouTube, and I fix stuff. You know, I had my hot water heater break, and I figured out how to go change my O2 sensor. I went to the plumbing store, I bought an O2 sensor for $15, and I fixed it myself. It would have cost me $300, $400, $500 to call somebody out to fix that. And so helping these kids develop 21st century skills like developing a screencast, like knowing how YouTube works, how to upload videos, how to edit videos, how to be concise, because a screencast should be 7 minutes, and I apply that to my kids as well. You have to be able to be concise. And what's funny is a lot of this to me is English. Even though I'm doing STEM now and makerspaces, this is an English class to me because this is how I taught English for years. You know, the ability to do a screencast is the same way the kid would write a demonstrative essay about how to do something, right, or an argumentative essay about why we should do something this way. And so there's a lot of cross-curricularness that you can bring into any class by using technology, by blending your classroom, by playing to your students' strengths and what they're interested in. You can see here there's a nerd herd achievement. Anytime a kid goes out and teaches a teacher or a community member how to use technology, they earn an achievement. I'm actually trying to get some of my kids Google certified as Google certified educators because there's no age limit to being a Google certified educator. So I have some kids who are really interested in this idea of teaching teachers. And in about a month from now, my school is going to host Google Night where we show parents what we're doing with Google and why it's important to use that. Wouldn't that be great if that was led by the nerd herd? Because one of the things I forgot to mention, I'll jump back before I get back into achievements. One of the types of quests I have is a raid. Right? Raids are big, fun quests that you can join in on as part of a team. And so you can see one of the active quests right now is Nerd Herd. And if a kid wants to join in on that, they click on the Nerd Herd link, and they'll see what they have to do. And again, like I mentioned, Nerd Herd is kids who go around and they help fix and maintain technology. My IT specialist agreed to work with some of the kids. Or there are kids who go around and they teach others how to use Google. And so here's a link to the Google Certified Educators tests. And, you know, kids can start to learn the fundamentals of Google. And so what's amazing is, imagine having a whole, you know, ed tech team of kids that could go around and teach teachers, and they start to realize that anybody could be an expert, and learning is lifelong and everywhere, and even maybe the teachers can learn that they have something that they can, you know, get from working with the kids. And so a lot of these are the Makey Makers on a raid. They can join the Makey Makers team, and they go around and they just do really cool stuff with Makey Makers and Makey kits, which are fantastic. And they can click on the video, and they can, you know, get some examples of what's going on with the Makey kit. So it's a way for me, again, to provide all the resources they need. It's a way for me to give them choice and voice in what they're doing. Deconstructor is one of my favorites, right? I tell people all the time, we can learn a whole lot just by taking stuff apart. And so I put an email out to my community. Any broken or working electronics that nobody wants, they bring in. And my kids are cracking open iPhones and iPads. My kids are opening up desktop computers. They're taking them apart. They're labeling all the pieces, right? And one of the achievements, as we get back to full circle here, one of these achievements is the reconstructor. If a student can take something apart that was previously working and then put it back together and it still works, they earn an achievement. right? Because it's really easy to take things apart. Imagine rebuilding a desktop computer for a kid, you know, in 5th and 6th grade. They can reconstruct it, and if it still works. Or, right, the fixers. I have a lot of kids who are bringing in phones. Some of them are broken. Some of them have cracked screens. Some of them have, you know, system errors. So maybe I'll teach them how to reset their phone to factory, how it came out of the factory or something like that. So these achievements that I can list and change are for kids to challenge themselves. Some are class achievements. This is how I handle cleaning up the lab. Every time the class leaves, the innovation lab cleans up. They earn a 50-point achievement, everybody in the class. If a kid has perfect attendance for the whole trimester, because we're on trimesters here, they earn an achievement. Some achievements are even secret, right? And I'll tell you the secret about this is I don't have 20 secret achievements, but I can't begin to know what awesome things my students are going to do this year. And so one of the achievements that I did know was going to happen is I had a student make an awesome suggestion about something I should do in the lab. And his suggestion was so great, I was, oh man, that's brilliant. So I gave him the brilliant achievement, and he earned 25 AP for that. And you know, I added that to the classroom. And so if you look at the leaderboard, you can see every kid has AP, right? Achievement points. So they unlock an achievement, they earn AP points. And so we can see Fern Dog is the guy, is the kid who earned 25 AP for a great idea. And what they can do with AP is they can go into the item shop and they can buy something for class. In gamification, how you reward people from most powerful to least powerful is status, access, and power. And so a lot of that stuff you can find in here. So for instance, if a kid wants to listen to music, they can spend 150 AP listening to music during one class. And again, they earned those achievements by challenging themselves while they're doing a quest, right? Doing a heroic deed while they're on their quests. And again, I have something called Purge. Classes can take experience points away from each other on the leaderboard as part of their year-long competition. And so I had Purge, and the kid comes up to me, the Fern Dog, he says, well, you know what you should do is you should sell a shield, because if somebody tries to purge our class but we bought a shield, then their purge shouldn't work. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. What a fun way to add what a fun way to add a layer over top of what they're already doing. And so kids earn achievement points, and again, because the kids now have a voice in what they're doing, I could very quickly just add and take away items. And it also solves a lot of problems. So one of the biggest problems we're going to have in the innovation lab is everybody wants to use the 3D printer. And one of the problems with a 3D printer, though, is while they're amazing and super fun to use and have great value in education, it takes sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes just to make a little thing. I have 250 kids who come in and out of my innovation lab. So if you take 250 kids, all who want to print, and something that takes half hour to print, well, how can I ever develop a fair way to decide who prints and who doesn't? So what I did is, as kids earn achievements and earn their achievement points, right, that's how they earn the right to print something. So we have Tinkercad and SketchUp and AutoCAD, depending on the level of the kid in the innovation lab. If they make something, and in Tinkercad we'll say, and they have a print pass because they earned so many achievements and earned these achievement points, well, they get to use it. And that's how I order it. So as they buy it, they go on the list of who can print. And that's gone a long way in helping modify, it's gone a long way in helping me figure out how to be fair in class. And so you notice a lot of these do those. When I was in high school, I had a bathroom pass. Kids couldn't go to the bathroom unless they bought it. And some people are like, oh, that's crazy. But what was funny is kids started to go in other classes. Kids would come to class early because they could go in the bathroom for the first 5 minutes of class. Nobody was late because they knew that if, once we got rolling, they couldn't leave class to go to the bathroom. And so by putting my curriculum online, I get to start to do all these really cool things, not just with giving my kids their work in the class, not just by communicating with parents, not just by helping kids who might not understand things the first time or how to contact me. Right? I don't have to repeat myself as much because I blended my classroom and all these videos are online, and this library of information is only going to continue to grow over time. It's really making a one-stop shop for parents and myself and kids to interact with the curriculum and see what they're supposed to be learning and talking to each other. And I think one of the most exciting ways that happens is through quest logs. So right away you can see the technology heroic traits, which come from the New Jersey State Technology Standards, and our quest logs are basically digital portfolios. And kids know that they have to pick 2 heroic traits from a quest and 1 heroic trait from technology to talk about in their quest log. So students will go to 5th grade, and then they'll pick on the day of the week. And again, I had the rubric embedded in the item shop, in the Armory, but I also embedded the rubric here. And so when I update my Google Doc, my quest log rubric doc, let's try that again. When I update my quest log rubric, not only is that link in the Armory going to automatically update, it's also going to automatically update here. So by using Google Apps for Education, because it's cloud-based, when I update one thing, it updates everywhere that is linked to. And so I'll show you my favorite quest log so far, so kids know they picked Friday because they're in Friday, and I'm going to show you Andon's quest log. Andon's quest log is absolutely fantastic. So he has the image that I made, and a lot of the quest logs look the same. I pushed them out using something called Site Maestro, which is an add-on for Google Sites. And all this is just basically every kid has their own Google site. And so he has an achievement page where he's going to display the pictures of the achievements, right? He's going to display the badges of the achievements that he's earned while he has been questing. But what's exciting is Andon has updated his quest, which is great because this isn't even due for another week. Because this is online, kids can choose to work on it anytime. My kids know I only have one rule in the Innovation Lab. I don't have to tell kids to be nice and be respectful and treat others the way you want to be treated because kids know that, right? I don't have to make rules about not touching things that's yours and stuff. Kids know that kind of stuff. So there's only one rule in the Innovation Lab, and that is be productive. The kids must be working on their quests when they are in the Innovation Lab, again, which is 1 hour per day, and I see them once a week. So they have to be questing. And then they have the option to continue their quest at home or even start a different quest at home. And they could do that because all of their work is online. I have over 112 quests. So a kid could come and quest from day 1 all the way to the end of the year, or he can even make up his own quests. And so it's exciting for me to see that kids are so into this. They're updating their quest log at home through Fairhaven Innovates, the curriculum site. And so you can see he did the Game of Games quest, and he tells me what date he did it. You can see what standards he's been working on. You can see the achievements he attempted. He wanted to do a screencast master. And so what he did is he built this mini game called Chomper. I'm assuming he probably followed a YouTube video because there's tons of YouTube videos out there that teach kids how to do things in Minecraft. So that means Andon was independent. He definitely didn't do this in class because I've only seen him a few times, and he was just kind of figuring out what he wanted to do. So that means he went home and he worked on a quest. And so you can see he tells us this is the minigame Chomper. He's taken screenshots, so he's providing evidence. There's another screenshot. And then what I love about this, hopefully you guys can hear it.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Chomper, a minigame I made. Anyway, to start the game, you take a bow, and then you press start. And the way this works is that you shoot an arrow at the button to get a point, and I'll show you the redstone behind this after a little bit. See, look, now I have 2.
And so what you can see is Andon built a shooting gallery range, right? The quest was to build a game within a game, right? So build a game within Minecraft. And so we see a couple great things happening here. If you look up here, Andon went and found his own screen capture software, right? There's some free options that I shared with the kids. And he went and he found this on his own, and he got it set up on his own, which is really exciting for a 5th grader. And it looks like when he shoots the target, it's going to keep score, because we could see the score here on the right, which means he had to mod Minecraft. And if I continue to play, he's actually going to take us behind the scenes. And this is all redstone. And for those of you who don't play Minecraft, the way to think about this, that redstone is like running electrical wires. And these command blocks right here tell the electrical wires what to do. So it's almost like creating a computer programming. There's some circuitry involved in this redstone. And so it looks really complex. And so what Andon is explaining here is how he created his game within a game to complete the quest. And I mean, you can kind of look again at this video. How cool does that look? You have to shoot the arrow at the target without getting blocked by those blocks, and that's all done through redstone. And so it's a great way for kids to build confidence and express themselves, you know, through their digital portfolios. I just happen to call them quest logs because I'm a big gamification fan. And so you can see I have the right to edit this, Andon has the right to edit this, everybody else just has the right to look at it. And so not only can other kids see what their peers are doing, not only can they share with each other, but kids can also share with their parents. Parents can look at this. So I think what's great, I know we're running out of time, what's great about this blended learning is it makes my life easier as a teacher because I can give all of my resources to the kids and they can access that, which frees me up to do everything else. I can continue to grow the community through the storylines and the journals, through the quest logs. I've already gotten some emails from parents who love the quest logs. It helps me teach digital citizenship because kids know that they shouldn't use their last names or reveal any private information online. It lets me build some competition and get motivation out of kids through leaderboards. Kids have access to all of their work through the quest maps, and it's given to them in this unique way where they get voice and choice and agency in what they do. And this, you know, this is going to continue to grow and get better every day I work on it. You know, I access this site every day. My kids access this site every day. Parents access this site every day. And so it's really exciting for me to see this not only grow as an educational tool, but it's growing my community. It's growing my kids' independence as learners because they have the access to the resources. They have the links to look things up. And you can see here, it even is the direct platform into Google Classroom. And so my kids know that this is how they access Google Classroom. And if I sign in real quick as a teacher, bear with me, you can see that's how I give my kids surveys. I Google Forms. So you can see here's all my Innovation Lab classrooms. I'll go into 5th grade Knollwood, and all my kids are here, so you can see all my guys. And if you were to click on this, you would see the survey that I asked them to take. This is how I track what quest they're working on. This is how I track what standards they're working on. So I have actionable data. And so kids tell me, you know, their gender, their grade, what day they have Innovation Lab, and this allows me to track all of the stuff. So I can go to Edit Form, I can go to Responses, I can go Summary of Responses, and this is actionable data for me to work on. I can see that half the kids are working on the Makey Maker, so I know this is really popular, so maybe I spend more time on that. It seems like most of my kids they really like this 3D model theme park. I can see what standards are most popular, and I can track this by kid so I can see growth over time, and that's all part of what I'm doing through this curriculum because it's now more than a curriculum. It's a learning portal. It's a community builder. It builds agency, which is so important in our kids. So I know we're running down on time, and I really could probably go on a little bit more, but I want to open the floor to any questions. If Maya has anybody or anybody wants to ask any questions, you're free to unmic the room. If anybody wants to do audio questions, I'm happy to answer those for you. But hopefully somewhere in that rambling, I've convinced you that blending and rethinking your curriculum and Google Apps for Education and student-centered learning is the way to go. It's what our kids need.
Thanks so much, Chris. If anyone has a question, please feel free to just press the talk button at the top left and ask it, or the chat. Dale has a question, Chris, around how much do you have to manually track students' achievements and XP, and how much of it is tracked automatically by the system, and what do you have next planned for your classes?
So I don't want to turn this into a plug or anything like that, Dale, but if I jump real quick into the leaderboards and I open up my leaderboards, just basically I wrote code in Google Apps for Education that my leaderboard is totally automated. Dale, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm happy to talk to you more about the leaderboard. But yeah, it's got about 700 lines of code that I wrote using Google Sheets, and it tracks all the AP and all the achievements automatically. I just have to click a couple buttons to let it know who did what. And then you'll see for the this part here, the XP, I would just type in, you know, where kids are at, and I could get that out of my grade book. So I used to spend hours, 2 hours a day doing this 4 years ago until I paid one of my kids. I was learning how to code, and I happened to have a kid in my high school who was pretty good at coding. So we sat down, and over the course of 2 weeks, we coded this out together. And I actually wound up paying him for it, just because I thought he should get paid for, you know, the expertise that he had. And he was so excited, his first coding gig, and now he's in school for computer science. I talk to him regularly. He's a great kid, and you know, this is one of those cool teachable moments where, you know, kind of like the nerd herd, the kid was able to work with me, and together we made this leaderboard. Which, I mean, people all over the world are using this thing. It's one of my more popular products that I have made for teachers. I have a couple others. If you like, check out EdSurge and stuff like that, you'll see some of the other stuff I have and share with teachers. As for what's next, I don't know. What's next for the class is going to be whatever the kids dictate. You know, the kids have been adding the item shop. You saw, do I still have the window open? I mean, you see the data here. I can see what quests are not popular. I can see what quests are really popular. So if quests start to die off, and, you know, let's say, for instance, you know, only one kid is doing music to my ears. If in 6 months only 3 or 4 kids have done that, well, maybe I think about removing that quest, or maybe I think of re-looking at that quest because it might not be that good. So, I mean, all this actionable data and all of the quest logs, and because I have blended my classroom and I'm not talking for an hour and everybody's sitting looking at me, I'm able to interview kids all the time about what do you think, what are you working on, what do you like, what do you want to do. By having the achievement, you know, where kids get rewarded for making awesome suggestions to the class. Now kids and parents are constantly thinking about what should be going on. So what's coming next is really whatever the kids and the community want. I see Bernadette is going to start playing Minecraft tonight. Awesome. And what's funny about Minecraft is, you know, I'm 31, so I've grown up in a world where there's always been internet, there's always been video games. I got my first computer and played video games. I have a picture when I was 2 years old building computers with my father. I would not play Minecraft in my free time. It's not a game that I enjoy. I find it to be really stressful. However, my kids love it, and so I feel I owe it to them to harness their enthusiasm to bring that into the classroom, because we could do a lot of great educational things, but as far as playing Minecraft, it's not really my cup of tea. Teaching with Minecraft is awesome, though.
Great. Well, I think we're at our time. I just wanted to thank you, Chris, for sharing so much packed information in less than an hour. So thank you so much. I know we'll have a lot of people who will follow up as well as we recorded this, and it will be posted online, as well as you should receive the link via email. So thanks again. I just wanted to quickly let everyone know to look into attending our symposium, which will be November 8th through 11th in Orlando. And we do have webinars each month. The next ones for October are around student engagement research, as well as hearing directly from the student panel for those who are immersed in student-centered competency-based programs. So if you are interested in those, be sure to go to our website and register. So again, thanks everyone for joining. Sorry I ran over for a couple minutes. And Chris, thanks again so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Bye, everyone.